YouTube, what the crap's going on? Welcome to the battlefields of Total War, Warhammer 2. HeirofCarthage here, and I'm about to take you into a fun battle where we're going to have Empire playing against the Skaven. Let's go check out the armies. For the Empire, we've got several spearmen in the center, and they are backed up by a couple of flagellants, and there's also a couple of Free Company militia. A couple meaning three, actually, my bad. Hammer of the Witches, we've got Boris Todbringer out here, and an Amber Wizard on the Griffin, which has not been seen much since they nerfed those down a long time ago in Warhammer 1. But we've also got the Zentler's Reiksguard back here. For the Skaven, I'm going to slow this down for just a second. For the Skaven, there's a front line of Storm Vermin with halberds, so very potent infantry in the center, as potent as it can get for the Skaven, really. Then there's just a lot of Skaven slaves and clan rats with shields. Skrolk is the lord, and there's two rat ogres supporting three warp lightning cannons. And let's hit play here. Whoop. I'm trying to do this a fancy way, but it didn't work. Check out this Zentler's Reiksguard with its forward deploy. It comes through completely unseen, and it will get to these warp lightning cannons. But at the same time, Skrolk is nearby, and so are rat ogres. So I think this is a bit premature for the Reiksguard. But we'll see. It may be worth it if you can come in and kill a lot of warp lightning cannons, so I'm sure that's why the Empire player went for it. The Hammer of Witches, though, has destroyed a couple of guns already, nevertheless. The Amber Wizard is taking tremendous fire. He's going to drop a, I thought the Amber, oh no, that's the Rod of Corruption destroying the Zentler's Reiksguard. For a minute I was thinking it was the Doomflock. So here comes the Empire troops. In melee, the Empire is actually completely outmatched by the Skaven, and the Skaven have huge numbers. Flagellants, of course, will do great versus Skaven slaves, but I mean, what doesn't at that point? So Boris is going to drop down and also try and get rid of Warp Lightning cannons, but again, this is somewhat risky. There's a Jade Wizard and an Amber Wizard, by the way. The Jade Wizard just healed the Amber Wizard, who's routing at the moment. Look at all the Storm Vermin surrounding Boris. Boris has gotten himself into a tough spot, and he's got rat ogres on the other side, so Boris could be in trouble. Could be in trouble. The Free Company militia are moving themselves into position, and other than the flagellants, the infantry for the Empire is it's not going to do great, but it'll take a long time for the Skaven to kill him. The Royal Altdorf Griffites decide to come in, but they're just going to run into a Storm Vermin, and that's not really where they want to be in life. The Amber Wizard only has Doomflock, so if he could get a spot with multiple Storm Vermin, then it would be a good spot. There's another heal coming in here, but Boris and the Amber Wizard are heavily outmatched in this vicinity. And there's a clan rat being summoned to help chase the Griffites who are going after artillery. Jade Wizard over here. Flagellants doing quite well on that side, and let's see how they're doing over here. They've picked up a tremendous number of kills, but not anywhere near a chevron because they're just killing Skaven slaves. So this is actually a good trade for the Skaven, because you would have to kill, what, 4 or 5 units of Skaven slaves to be the equivalent cost of the one flagellant. Free Company militia are going to be a nice unit here, as the Skaven generally have low armor, and the Free Company militia are kind of like a swordsman when they get into melee. They're about at that same caliber. So a really handy unit to be able to shoot and fight. A Free Company militia in like an early Empire campaign is one of my favorite units, because they can do so much damage to low armor, and they're great flanking units, and they can hold up in a fight against other low-tier infantry quite well. The Storm Vermin are going to be interesting for the Empire to try and deal with, because they have the Borises mounted. Not exactly the target you want. Skrolk is pretty much unscathed at the moment, and the Empire continues to try and shut down the Warp Lightning cannons, which it is getting closer to have accomplished. The Altdorf Griffites getting a little bit of Earth Blood here. They're going to come in, try and support Boris. All of these Storm Vermin, there's a summoned clan rat that's hoping to lock Boris into place, and the Liber Bubonicus leaves Boris just absolutely scorched. He's taken a tremendous amount of damage. You can see over here the Storm Vermin slowly but surely wrapping up the Spearmen. You can see how long it takes for a Storm Vermin to kill even an unshielded Empire Spearman. Skaven infantry is trash. Almost completely trash. There's a few of them that are okay. Storm Vermin, really though, if you're going to bring an expensive infantry, it might as well be Storm Vermin. They're the only one that might get you some value. Skrolk now taking a little bit of damage from Boris, but he is still supported by Storm Vermin. And those halberds are gonna smart when you're on a large target. The Empire starting to lose a lot of their support units. Boris getting weak. The Jade Wizard is still alive. The Griffites are still alive. We've got a fairly healthy Spearman out here, but remember again, the Free Company Militia can hold their own in a melee. They won't win versus Storm Vermin, but they will hold them for quite a while. And if you can get flank shots over here, that'll be great. There's some flagellants that are able to be brought back into the fight, I would assume, at some point, but there's a lot of regrouped Skaven out on the flank as well. Those flagellants have 180 kills. Comes Boris again to shut down the Warp Lightning cannons. That's his main objective. There's Storm Vermin chasing him. Boris quickly is able to get rid of those Warp Lightning cannons, and early on it didn't look like the Hammer of Witches was going to do much, but here it is, able to just fire away all of its ammunition, so it could end up being a very key unit here. The Jade Wizard has kept himself safe. A couple of Free Company Militia able to pull away and fire. The regrouped Reichsguard and what's left of the Griffites are able to put some rear charges down and get rid of some of the Storm Vermin. This leaves the Skaven in a bit of a blob over here to try and kill these Spearmen. Boris flying overhead, and the Free Company Militia firing in. The Skaven have numbers still, which is expected from Skaven. But the Empire has their Flying Lord alive, and they've got these Free Company Militia. They're getting a little bit of rear charges here, and there comes Boris. Skaven are going to have to be careful of losing their leadership, because it's not great to begin with. Rod of Corruption comes down, so all the Empire units within here are going to take some damage from that. Boris, it shouldn't be too bad, but he doesn't need to take any damage because he can't heal much anymore. Got some Skaven Slave Spears pushing out against the Free Company. There are Skaven units that have regrouped behind the Free Company. It is still Skaven all over the place at this point. Lots of Skaven, but Boris continues to try and get in here and pick at Skrolk. Another Warp Lightning Cannon comes back online, quickly to be silenced by Zentler's Reichsguard. So they finally got the Warp Lightning Cannons they so badly wanted at the beginning of the battle. Check this out. We got Free Company Militia just running away from the Skaven. They're kind of hard to run away from. Skaven infantry are actually fairly quick. Boris is going to use his mobility and his mass and continue to charge Skrolk and be able to get away from the Storm Vermin. The Storm Vermin, though, should be able to damage him at least a little bit every time. See the Clan Rats being used to try and pin him, but it's just not going to work. The Rat Ogres are really what you need there to pin down a big flyer like that. And without the Rat Ogres, it's going to be difficult. Which means the Skaven's kind of getting picked apart out here now by even just a small Altdorf Griffite. It causes terror. And if you're a Skaven unit in late game that's already taken damage, terror is a very real and constant threat. So the Empire starting to equalize some of the balance bar here. Even though they are few in number, they just haven't lost that balance bar. Look at that, 200 kills for the Flagellants and not even halfway to a chevron. That's how you know you're fighting the Skaven. That's how you know you're fighting the Skaven. This has been a pretty epic battle so far. It's been a good one. So many Storm Vermin. Interesting to see that infantry-heavy Skaven army. I mean, you usually see a lot of Skaven infantry, but usually it's just all fodder, whereas in this case, the amount of elite infantry for the Skaven was pretty considerable compared to their usual. Yeah, these Griffites are going to be clutch right here. Only 500 hit points, but it's the terror, folks. That terror, though. These Free Company Militia outran their pursuers, were able to turn around and fire, and they're now routing. And the Skaven find themselves in a tough spot, being shot by the Hammer of Witches, when again, leadership is already quite the concern. Here's Skrolk and his Storm Vermin, charging forward. Let's see what happens here. Oh, Skaven are going to call it. That was actually sent in to me by the Gobbo King. I don't know if he was actually playing as Captain Spider-Pants, and the opponent said Ninja Hun, which is interesting to me, because if that actually really was Ninja Hun, it's strange for me to see him actually playing a defensive Skaven army, so maybe he was either just trying to be cheeky, or I've also seen fake Ninja Huns out there, so I don't know which one it is. But great game to both players. It was fun to watch. If you all enjoyed it, make sure to hit a like there, and let's thank them in the comments for submitting it. was a really close battle. Really pretty close battle, and I actually thought that was heavily in favor of the Skaven partway through, but the Empire managed to pull it back quite impressively. So if y'all want to see more battles, make sure to subscribe, and there will be more for you to enjoy. And I really do hope you enjoy them, and I hope to see you there. Click that bell too, because remember, YouTube makes you hit subscribe twice, basically. I have no idea why. Hope to see you there. HeirofCarthage, signing out.